So we are live. Thank you, everybody, for being here and showing up. You guys are awesome, awesome, awesome. Um, got some wonderful people already in the comments. Gosh, slow down, guys, slow down. Of course, we got a behind the scenes view. Oh, you're seeing behind the scenes. Wow. Um, do I have? Oh, yes, you are. You guys got behind the scenes because I was actually showing our guest this evening how to use Ecamm. So yes, I kind of prefer that. Oh, thank you, Dan. Much love. Thank you, thank you. Okay, yes, you got a behind the scenes look at what was going on because we were using Ecamm Live, and I was showing my guests this evening how to actually use Ecamm Live, and I will start doing tutorials on Ecamm Live on how to do it. So we were using live demo mode. So yes, that's what you got to see tonight, guys, and we got people tuning in on YouTube. So while we're speaking of YouTube, thank you so much for checking us out. If you're on our YouTube channel, please hit the like and subscribe button. We are always, always, always trying to build our viewership over there. And hit the notification bell. It'll let you know whenever we are live, whenever we schedule new lives, and whenever we drop new video content on the channel. So if you're watching us on YouTube, thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it so very much. Okay. And of course, we are on our favorite platform, LinkedIn, folks. We got a lot of people tuning in. Thank you guys on the LinkedIn airwaves for always showing up and being so supportive of what we get to do here every single day. So love it. If you guys are not connected with me, and I don't know how you're not, but if you're watching this and you're connected with me, thank you so much. Felipe, how are you? Thank you, sir. Do appreciate it. Then connect with me and we'll chat. We'll see how that goes. So thank you again, LinkedIn. And we also want to mention that we have now our swag. That's right, folks. We have swag. So if you want to head over to our merch store, the link I'll put it in the comments. You can go check out our swag store. We do have some awesome swag going on here. Hats, shirts, mugs, and more to come. So if you're checking us out and you want to buy some merch, you know where to go. So thank you again. Appreciate you guys so very, very much. If you want to go buy our swag, and we actually had somebody buy swag already, so kind of proud of that. So if you're checking us out, thank you so much. All right, guys, and of course, there we go. If you're checking us out over there on afterwards, we're gonna go to our Discord channel, so you can go hang out there afterwards. I go hang out about 15-20 minutes after every show, and you can go to the Kraken. Yes, that is the name of our Discord channel. We're posting stuff in there every morning. I go in there and I put in a few funny things, just to kind of spark conversation. It's just a nice place to kind of hang out. So if you want to go check it out and join our Discord channel, please do. We will drop it in the comments. And of course, you want to give a little love, of course, to our team over at Inky Black, who handles our merch and helps with putting all this stuff together. So to our scene here, not our YouTube. Let's go back to our LinkedIn scene. Okay. Pretty excited about this evening's guest. We connected, I want to say about a year ago. So, and we've actually had a few conversations prior to coming on here, a lot of interactions, but I've never officially had like this person on the show and had an interview. So I decided, you know what, since I'm doing everyday live shows now, I got to start reaching out to some of these people. So I got to know her as one half of a duo. So the other half, if sometime in the future, I'll have her other half on. But we kind of connected, and I love what she was doing within the live streaming community when we first started like putting out content, and I mean, she just grabbed it by the horns and started doing her thing. So, guys, please help me welcome to this show this evening's guest, the marvelous, the fabulous, the incredible, the amazing. Let's use all the adjectives and verb descriptions for Miss Charlene Brown. Thank you, thank you, thank you, guys. Help me
I
welcome
like
her to
that.
the show. Let's give her some. Let's give her a round of applause, folks. Welcome to the show officially. So thank you for coming on and having a conversation. This was cool. I mean, you. This is what I loved. You did not hesitate one moment when I said, "Hey, would you like to come on?" And you were like, "Boom." I mean, did not take very long to book your time to come on the show, which other people look, I'm gonna shame other people. Shame on you. Those that I've sent out invitations to and you have not booked yet, shame on you. Okay, just so you know. So, are you talking? Well, we will get into that, Dan Roth. We will get into that. So we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Hold your horses. You're getting ahead of the, you're getting ahead of the show. So, Charlene, first of all, thank you for coming on. Do appreciate it, and I am so glad that we're actually having this conversation on a live stream together, where we're not actually talking so much about behind the scenes sort of stuff. We're just here um, having this actual conversation for everybody to be a part of. So I wanted to ask a few questions for you. Um, what got you into, first of all, and I've been asking all these creators, what got you into doing live streaming? What was it that was the genesis or the thing that was a spark that said, I want to start getting on camera and putting myself out there, because, it's not for everybody. So tell me a little bit of how that's happened for you.
Yes, for me, it was, and I always say this, Carl Sean Watkins. We were in a video challenge together, and I would always come to the meetings, and my camera would be off. So it became the
Okay.
running joke. How are you in a live stream video challenge and you're not turning on your camera? So Carl and I, we talked offline, and we just got to know each other. And he said, you know what? There's so much about you that I'm learning. Why aren't you doing this in your videos? And I was like, well, I never know. I don't know really what to say when I'm by myself. So he said, why don't we test it out? Do a show together, just go live together, and that'll help you stay accountable and you'll doing your videos. And I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. And before I know it, we did Real Talk, and it just took off and it just became a hit. So that's how we started the show. And after that, we just kept brainstorming. So we started doing other shows, and like, I have an idea, let's test it out. And that's just how it just kicked off. And then, of course, with Shri, she was also in the challenge with us. And she interviewed me actually
Ooh.
for her show, and then people liked how we vibed, so we ended up doing Sip and Chat together. So I ended up having three shows when I didn't even
Sorry.
want to get on camera.
Yeah, right. Starting out with nothing, and then all of a sudden here you are, um, with three shows. And
Yes.
tell me, this is okay. So this is what I love about what you're just mentioning, um, because there are people out there that have yet to get on camera, but here you are. You were saying, yeah, I'm going to do a video challenge. First of all, um, what was the challenge actually, or do you remember? Uh, what it was or who it was, whose challenge that it was that you became a part of? Because here's the thing, that challenge spurred three different things out of one little opportunity of saying, hey, start getting on camera and showing up.
Yes, and it was by Shanae Murray, the 21 Day Challenge. And it was just for us to, and it didn't have to be live, it was just for us to do something, start creating content on LinkedIn. And the goal was eventually we would go live, but I always put it in the back of my head. And I was like, yeah, I can apply, but I don't even know when that's going to happen. I don't know when I would really go live.
Uh-huh.
And like I said, because I was just talking with Carl, and he was always on different shows. Carl had like 20 shows at the time. And he
Yeah,
was
there's
just
another
so
one. Yeah.
right. And he was just generous to say, I like what you're saying. I like what you're doing. People got to know about you. So for me, it was really to have somebody believe in you enough
Hmm.
to go with you and do it with you. Sometimes it's one thing when you have the encouragement, but to see someone actually in it with you, doing the battle with you, and saying, you know what, let's turn it on. I have my studio. You get your studio. Let's practice together. That's really what kept it something that was viable for me. Because other than that, I could easily have said, I did two of them. I'm good. But it was just the energy and also his network. And then I started to grow my network. So it just was a good thing after that to prove that, you could do it. And if you don't want to do it by yourself, just have somebody who is better on the camera than you are to really keep the energy going.
Yeah, and people are like, well, of course, 3 shows. Yes. 3 shows. So, and again, for those who aren't connected with you, and I don't know if you're not, but you should. What was what was the idea behind doing the second show? Because they're sort of, I mean, you're doing 2 different shows, but they're about different sort of topics.
Right.
With what you do with Mr. Carl Sean Watkins, you guys talk a little bit more in depth about vulnerability. You talk about, I mean, just in general, you're talking more about teaching people about, let's just say, leadership and how to, I mean, just, it's a lot to talk. It's a lot what you guys share that's
Right.
really more about self-improvement, getting people in a place of understanding and how to be open and authentic with what you do. Whereas what you do with Suri, that's a little bit different. It's more, so if you haven't checked that out, it's a little bit more relaxed, right? It is a different vibe altogether. So what was the idea with you guys putting your heads together and say, let's do this. Let's make this a little bit different. Cause I
Well,
like
for
the
this
vibe.
Yeah, so for the second show, because at the time Shri couldn't do it during the day, we decided that nighttime would be better, but also it could be more like a after work type of feel. And for those who go through corporate, sometimes you just want to hang out with your peers. You go to a lounge or something else, and you're just relaxing. So even if business chat comes,
Mm-hmm.
it's not as rigid as during the day. You're relaxed, you have your drink, and everybody's just talking real. They're not doing
Yeah.
pretense. They're not trying to make anybody, I don't know, feel better about themselves. They're just saying what happens during the day. So it was more of let's do it at night. Make it really relaxed. And if someone wants to drink, they can. Um, and we can test the waters, because of course we're on LinkedIn. We don't know what they might say. But it turned out better than we thought. And that was just another opportunity for people to see us differently and not so rigid or so strict to a straight style of an interview. And like you said, when I do it with Carl, it's more of spotlighting people, because both show spotlights our guests, of course,
Yes.
but it's more of the day show with Carl is more not just to spotlight them, but to allow them to show people why they should connect with that guest, why that guest is so passionate, and it really comes through. And both show resonates well with the audiences.
Mm, interesting. Yeah. Well, and I love that you again got started in doing something. Stepping into an arena you had like no idea of like what to expect. I mean, yeah, you're doing a challenge and that's one thing, but then to actually say, now I'm going to start creating more stringent content. I'm going to start creating shows and doing things. I mean, that is like what I tell people. The whole thing is like step outside of your comfort zone. You did that like wholeheartedly. And then it's like when you did, everything changed. You said, you know what? I like this. And this is why I tell
Yeah.
people take the opportunity to go and try something like this new. If it doesn't work for you, no harm, no foul, walk away. But the thing
Hmm.
is, if you discover something about what this is, it makes it so much different that you're like, man, it changes the way that you feel and how, and I want to touch on that as well. How do you feel like live streaming and doing all these interviews and the amount of content and the things that you talk about with all 3 of your shows, um, Phil has helped sort of change you and develop and change the perspective of how you go out and do things in your, I mean, not that this isn't your everyday life, but like when you go out in public and the way that you communicate with people, has it given you a different sort of, um, sort of confidence to the way that you engage with folks, or have you always had that about you?
Oh no. It built the confidence. And it built it in the sense that I knew what I was talking about all the time, but it was the approach. Like, how do you grab someone's attention? How do you speak to their understanding but interest as well? Because it's hard to make tech sexy. It's hard. Like, you're talking about code, you're talking about logistics, strategy, and I can see a lot of people's eyes glaze over. So with real talk, sip and chat, credible vulnerability, those shows just allowed me to not only get comfortable speaking to people, but not worrying about who was listening, just speaking. And a lot of times when you're doing video, it can get in your head of, you want it to be nice, you want it to be perfect, but not everything is perfect. So going live prepares you for that, and prepares you to think on your feet and try new things quickly, and just shift, so you can make sure that what you're saying doesn't get distracted, and people don't get distracted from any glitches or you just focusing on the wrong thing. So it just built the confidence of, if I had to go to another event live, I can do that. I can just think on my feet again and just keep going, and just focus on the conversation rather than focusing on, are you understanding what I'm saying? Are we building something? But it just happens naturally, and it takes a lot of that networking, pressure off. Because I remember the old times of networking, it would be in a dark place. The music is loud. People are already in groups. So you're trying to figure out, okay, where do I go? Who do I talk to? But the lives, you can just talk to anybody and everybody. And if nobody shows up live, they're watching the replay. So before you know it, you're getting notifications on the back end of,
Yes.
hey, I enjoyed this. I love that. So that's how I really understood that, the power of being confident with what you're doing and focusing on sharing that knowledge. Before you know it, it really, the return is amazing on that.
Yes, that is a, and again, that is a byproduct of doing something like this, folks. That is a byproduct of saying, somebody asked me about the same thing. Is like, what was it? Was Rachel Drunkenmiller? She asked me that question today. Like, what was the biggest risk that you took? And it was doing this, getting behind the camera, turning it on, and starting to talk, and how it that risk had such a great reward for me. So much
Mhm.
so that it is a passion that I love doing now, that I never would have known that I was good at, or that I loved to do this, had I not taken that step. And I
Yeah.
love that you've sort of done this, and um, again, it changes the way that you feel. I mean, I'll ask this: have you ever had a, let's just say, have you ever had a day where things weren't going well for whatever reason? Nothing was going your way. Everything was not in your favor. And then you get on an interview with somebody, and it gives you perspective afterwards, where you go back afterward, you turn the camera off, you're sitting there with your thoughts, and you're going, wow, you know, life's okay. Um, whatever
Yeah.
happened today, having a conversation like that and hearing somebody else's sort of journey and what they've gone through, the struggles that they do, and they overcome them, it changes the way that your outlook when you have a conversation like that. So have you ever felt that for yourself? I'm gonna ask you that. I know I have. I'm explaining I have, but I love to ask this about other people. Like, what are their experiences afterwards?
Yes, I've been blessed to have that. That's why I love doing the shows, because when you see someone reliving a journey, or sharing their passion, it allows you to be passionate too, and it allows you to revel and be on that journey with someone else. So it changes the way that you're not only interacting and connecting with people, but allowing you to be a catalyst for someone else's story. That, to me, that's just been a game changer, because you don't think about it. You're always saying to yourself, or you're wondering, most of us, how can you be a, a catalyst, or how can you change something in this world, in your community? And before you know it, something as simple as an interview that helps to change a lot of things. That allows other people to see or learn something new and meet new people, and they're just like, oh wow, I never thought about that, or that's such a different perspective. Because sometimes the topics feel the same, but
Mm-hmm.
when you're hearing it from someone else's perspective, that's
Yes.
when the conversations just really evolve after that.
Right. And that's the thing about it. People are like, don't you, sometimes, people say, don't you get sick about talking about some of the same things? It's like, no, because it is exactly what you just said. It's the perspective that people give you, you know,
Right.
it's the way that they interact with you. It's the way that they communicate something about what you're doing. And it changes, again, it changes the connotation of the whole conversation, even though you've probably had it a few times. Yeah, I've had a few conversations where they seem very similar, but you know what? No two conversations are the same, you know.
Exactly.
So that's why, like, it's important. Plus, and I've talked about this before for other people that have come on the show, and I mentioned this to them. It's like, you know, you can say the same thing. Me and you can say the same thing to one person, but the way that you say it or the way that you communicate it resonated with him.
Yes.
Where I couldn't break through to them, you were. And that's why it's so important to say, I'm talking about this, and yes, I'm sharing some things that you might have heard of on the shows, but that that way that you communicate it is unique. And that's
Yes.
why I say you never ever ever just give you never give the thought of like, oh, I'm just spitting out or pouring out just rehashed sort of stuff. To me, that's not what that is. It's just you
Exactly.
communicating it to somebody else. And again, what you say might be the at the right time, at the right moment, that connects with that individual. So that's why I say you just got to do it, man. That is huge. So let's switch lanes a little bit. We've been talking about live streaming a little bit because that's you do as well. But I want to talk about what you do apart from live streaming. Um, you have a background as a woman in tech. So let's talk a little bit about what you've done in your career field, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what you guys have upcoming in the next few weeks.
Yes, thank you. So for me, it's weird too. I started learning how to code and build websites at the same time that I was training for my 9 to 5. So my corporate life and my personal business life and personal development were on the same path without me realizing it.
Yeah.
And so that's 22 over 22 years ago that I started it. And what I do is I went from just building websites, trying to get more visibility for a lot of the Black business women that were in my community that have been around for so long, but nobody knew them. It went from that to educating a lot of my community on not just building a site, but actually building brands, allowing yourself to build something that you should be protecting, learning about protection, learning about trademarking, learning why you should take it to the next level of being unique through your graphics, your words, allowing your content to be your voice and housing it on your own website so um, you're not beholden to a lot of social media and and the whims of change. You can actually, hone in on what you want to do, test out whatever you want to test out, have your own power and your own voice on your own platform. So I've just been evolving as I've been learning with technology as it's evolved, and I've been trying to, just work with my clients to understand how they too can evolve and allow their websites to reflect all of that.
Mm, I love that. And again, folks, I mean, you have the opportunity to go out there and do things that are unique to what like again, what we're talking about here, things that are different about what you um, saw as when you went out and said, you know what, I want to start learning how to code and do websites and do all these things. These are things that you discover as you journey along. That hey, I enjoy it. I do. I never. Again, no one plans to do things. Like I didn't sit down and say I got a 5-year plan on how to become a live stream influencer. Like this was foreign to me, and it's the same thing, but it's it's the risk reward of doing those things that you realize like this is incredible that I can do this, and I'm very not just good, but I'm excellent at it. And yes, Jacob, twerking is your gift. So that thank you so much for adding that. You're adding so much value tonight. Um, but yeah, so now that that you do this for um, people who reach out to you, what are some advice? What's some advice that you would give somebody um, that, for example, wants, or let's just say they've built a website, but they've gone about it, and it's not getting me the reach, or it's not getting me what I'm not maximizing what I'm getting or spending out of doing a website. So how does somebody reach out to you and say, please, I'm not good at this, or I need help, or can you help me at least figure out the best part um, of my website and how I can change the layout or the perspective, or how people come and sort of find who I am on the internet, because this is what it's all about, is being discovered.
Yes. Well, first, definitely my website. My gateway right now is LinkedIn mainly. Folks can connect with me through LinkedIn. Hit up my website. Check out my blog. I also have a mini blog or slash newsletter on LinkedIn called the Brand Misfits Insights, where I share a little bit of techniques, updates, things that are going on in the tech space, and I'm really taking those from my website's blog. So I have a lot of information there as well. And if it's time to really work and sit down and do a strategy, I have strategy sessions where I sit down and I help you build out what your strategy should look out, what kind of technology should you be investing in, what platform would be best for you.
Ooh.
I'm a WordPress girl, but if that's not something that you can maintain or you're ready for, then we can definitely find out which platforms for you to start out on. And it's better to always understand, what do you need your website to do? It should be supporting your business. Your website should be that voice, and that with the megaphone and everything, being the number one employee of your business, because it's telling everybody about you. It's keeping people updated about what's going on in the business. It's allowing people to see you as the expert. So even if you're selling products, you should be the expert of what this product can do and how it's benefiting someone's life. So you want to make sure that whatever you're doing, you're making the website a support system, and of course your digital foundation, because that should always be the first thing that you
Yeah.
update and you maintain.
Yeah, because I'm like, I'm gonna pull a curtain back, but I've reached out to you because I'm like, you know what, I need a website because again, here doing the show and all the content that I'm creating, apart from just talking and putting out videos, is the fact that you do want to have a place where you can gather all this information. So having, like, let's just say links or places to kind of direct people to go to my, if I had a blog, if I had a like my merch store or my videos or my YouTube page or all the other things that bring all these elements together into one singularity location where people can just find it and go, here I am, discover me, and then it will help me either bring you into a funnel, help me bring you into uh, again what you're coming to look for directly through me, instead of saying, oh, um, here's a YouTube page, and then having it leave that as how people discover you. So having a website is pretty important. Is something that I really, really, Gabe, yes, shame on you. You need to do this and put it together. So that's why I was like, I need to reach out to you. Of course, I've been super busy. Just so you no, but it is something on high on my priority list, is to get a website together, um, because again there is again a big focus of
Mm-hmm.
wanting people to discover you through things like SEO, right? I mean, that's the big thing,
Right.
isn't it? Is you want people to be able to just search some here, go on Google or any of these other search engines and say, type in Gabe Leal, and then I pop up, or I'm like the first or second hit that they can find. So,
Exactly. Exactly.
and and that's one thing that you do very well. Um, so as far as like when you create a yes, when you create a website, right? And you're talking about WordPress and all the other ones. What is like the biggest mistake that you see people do whenever they do it, like the DIY thing, and they usually have to end up coming back to an expert or somebody like you and saying, I have no idea what I've done because I've built a website before and I was like, I'm lost.
Right.
I got no clue like what I've done wrong, but I've done something wrong.
The biggest mistake is they followed someone else's website without understanding why that other website was put together. So they saw a nice website. A lot of people love to refer to Apple,
Yes.
and they just want to throw up a bunch of photos and a few descriptions and think people will flock to them because Apple is so clean. But Apple has done research. They know why their platform works. They know why their layouts work. And when they change things up, they're doing it for a reason. Either they're testing something new or they just need to make a shift. So it's really about understanding what is it that you need to get the word out. Your website should be showcasing either your talent, your knowledge, or a product. So you want to make sure that you're highlighting what you need people to do first. A lot of times folks are not going to scroll too far if you're not engaging them at the beginning. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. And wherever you're going, don't always feel like you have to leave people at the front door, meaning
Ooh.
you don't always have to send people to just the homepage. Maybe you want to send them to the living room. Maybe you want to send them to the game room. There's different ways to funnel people all over your website and allow it to be an adventure. And one of the
Mm.
things people do not create a journey. They don't even know how
Oh
people are using
yes.
the website. So I would always recommend put a hot map on your website, and what that does, it allows you to see how are people using your site, where are they clicking, where do they stop scrolling, where are they leaving, and then you can improve based on those statistics. So make sure that you're understanding the data that's coming on your website. Implement Google Analytics. I know a lot of people are not fans of Google. That's not the point. The point is not to hide at this point. We cannot be incognito right now.
Yes.
We have to play nice with Google,
Yes, we do. We do,
Facebook,
folks.
because we're tracking people's movements for a reason. And we want to do it because we want our websites to be useful to the visitors, not us. We know what, or hopefully, we know what we're doing. We know what our business does, but we need to allow the website to relate and speak to the visitors. And if the visitors aren't getting it, they're not. Then you're not going to get any traction. You're not going to get any sales. So no matter how many people tell you, oh, I can change your site and your sales are going to skyrocket overnight, that's straight BS. They can't do that if they're not giving the people what they want. So yeah,
Mm.
definitely understand the stats and start tracking movement on your site.
Oh, that is a big one there. And folks, again, you guys are getting a lot of good knowledge and value out of what we're talking about here. Um, Kind of leading us into the next sort of things that you guys are putting together and what you're starting to do. So, why don't we talk about that as well, going into the next step? And this is a big step for a lot of folks who don't know, as far as putting on an event or putting on a workshop or a master class, however you want to call it these days. Um, so what are you guys launching? Because I know that you and CSW, that's what I call them. That is, I'm coining this now. So if you see that, folks, look, I'm going to tell you what. I coined KDJ when everybody was calling him Kenneth Dunner Jr., which is now he's just Kenny D. But I coined that, and I'm coining CSW. So when you see that, it is because I'm talking about um, her partner on the show, Mr. Carl Sean Watkins. So tell us a little bit about the event you have coming up here in a few weeks. I think it's the 24th of September you
Correct.
guys doing?
Yes. I can't believe it's already September, but
Yes.
I'm just like, no, it's September. But yeah, we are doing our first summit together, and it's called the Next Level Business Move Summit. And we are just focused on making things uh, geared and on purpose, allowing people to get strategies that allow them to take action. Sometimes you hear people telling you how to do stuff, but they don't explain why. They don't tell you the power of it. They don't give you the proper examples. So we're doing that in this summit. We're giving actionable steps. We want to make sure that folks leave that summit and they can do at least 4 things. Especially with the VIP hot seat, we want to sit down with the business owners and we want to help them understand what is it that they should be doing as soon as they get off that summit. It's a virtual summit, and we just want to make sure that they have the tools that they need, not just motivation. You know, people get hyped up in a summit, they leave, they go to sleep, whatever. But by the time next week comes, they're in the same position or they have a stack of stuff that they're not using. But we want people to use what we're sharing with them. We have over 90 years of experience doing what we love. And that's the time right now is to take action. After seeing so many people jump into business after the pandemic, it was just a mess because people were just creating things assuming that money was just going to flow in, then they were stuck. We don't want that. We want folks to not be stuck but be empowered and take action. So that's what the Next Level Business Moves Summit is about. And definitely for VIP people who are ready to do it, ready to take that action, they want those 4 steps, hit us up at nextlevelbusinessmoves.com.
Ooh, interesting. Awesome. I'm glad that you guys are putting this together. Um, because for a lot of, and again, for a lot of folks who are wanting to um, learn and put
Mm-hmm.
themselves in what, especially what you guys talk about. I mean, having and putting together an event is something that, again, yes, thank you, Olivia. That's so being empowered into taking action. I mean, this is what it's all about.
Yes.
Um, and hopefully, a lot of people, if you're watching, will take part in it. Um, it's quite an experience to learn from two awesome individuals like you and of course CSW. That is again my thing. I'm coining it, folks. Um,
And it's
but
4 of us on this
oh,
journey together. So it's
oh,
it's yes, it's CSW. He's tackling messaging using vulnerability to really craft a message that's powerful for you. And then our good friend Michelle Barzalo, she's our graphics expert, allowing people to
oh,
understand and focus that if you really pay attention, you're using graphics all throughout multiple stages of your business.
I'm saying bye to
So
Roberta. Sorry.
right. So she's helping folks really understand that you can get started and still be able to create powerful graphics that focus and match your voice, allow your voice to take action
Mm,
and be visible. And I come in with the website strategy and allowing you to prepare yourself because a lot of folks, they're not doing this. And shame on you guys. You guys have so many amazing things that you're creating and you're putting out there, but then you're not preparing yourself for trademarking. You're not preparing yourself to protect your information. You're putting so much intellectual content out there and just leaving it to the wind, and then you're surprised when people copy you. Yeah. So then that's when our good friend Auntie Donna Brown, she's coming in with her trademark expertise and her brand strategies to help people understand. Not only will you use all that information that you've been doing, all that content you've been creating,
yep.
you can use that, put it on your website, and allow your website to help solidify that you are actually using your brand, so you can prepare to go to the trademark office, show them your website, show them all the beautiful things that you're using, and tell them I legitimately believe that I am doing this. Everybody believes that this is who I am. They hear this, they tie it to me, protect me, or give me the power to protect myself. And then, of course, you can start licensing your graphics, you can start licensing your podcasts, your images, all of those beautiful things that you've been creating and giving away to social media. And now you
Yes.
have the power that if someone who is too lazy to create starts to take from you, you can actually hire an attorney to help you fight, and you have the power to fight for that.
Wow. Guys, what else do you need? I mean, we got content creators in here. And again, like you said, we go out there and we create content, but how much of it do we actually control intellectually wise and what we do, and what stops, let's just say, stops somebody else from saying, oh, I'm going to take that idea and run with it. Um,
Yeah.
there are things that that are unique to an individual. Um, Dan, I love you, man. You know what? I'm gonna put it up there anyway because I love Rob too. But where does Rob fit it on? Does he get everyone's call for you? I don't know. Tag him. Ask. We can ask that sort of question here, but no,
No.
no. But yes, it gives you the power to protect what you do as a creator. I mean, uh, that's the whole thing. I mean, you would do the same thing if you were an artist. You would protect your intellectual property of music, things that you do, that you write, that you wouldn't want anybody else stealing and using and putting in everything else. So why not do this with the content you're creating? So if you already have a powerful voice and then you're working with the graphics and you're doing things like this, it's just the smart way to go.
Exactly.
And now that I'm thinking about it, I need to start doing this has been enlightening. I need a website, so I'm talking to the right woman, and then they're talking about a summit that I should that I should go be a part of, because again, there are things that I create. Yes, shame on me, Gabe. That I'm doing as well, that that I need to protect for myself, because you know, content has value, folks. You
Yeah.
know, and creating content and putting it out there is one thing, but then taking it like to the next step of where you might want to monetize it, right? And you allow other people to sort of um, take your ideas and what you do and put it into what they do. All of a sudden, and they find a way to monetize it, and you're like, "That's my idea. I did that. They took that from me. I mean, what do you have? What proof?
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
what intellectual property? Like somebody tries to steal somebody's lyrics, guess what? They can go back and sue them.
Hmm.
Like you stole, even if you stole a small piece of sampling from their music, anything in the slightest bit, you have to pay them for it.
Yeah.
So same thing with your content. If you're creating stuff that people see and they go, "Oh my gosh, that's really great," and then you see it somewhere, you go, "I love that you want to use it, but I need to get paid to do it. You need to pay me to do it."
Exactly. Exactly. And what we as creatives, we always get the short end. I was just having a conversation about that today. A lot of times people refuse to pay creatives what they truly want, partly because creators either don't know what they're worth, or you have new creators coming in undercutting because they're just hungry to do the work. And you also have those who are unscrupulous, so they'll do
Yes.
those fake tests or uh, projects or
Mm-hmm.
to pretend like, if you do this, it's a contest, you'll win, but we need to see who has the best, and then before you know it, no one wins, but yet they're using your stuff. So it's a lot of things that goes on in the creative world that we need to protect ourselves more. So it's 2023. There is absolutely no reason that we cannot protect what we create.
Um, I have all the comments of mine that you've highlighted. You chose that one. It's okay.
I
Well,
saw it
well,
and
well,
I
well,
got me having
because it was Robert Barry. It's the only reason. Um, because we love to have fun with Robert. He's good.
Yeah, we love Rob.
See, I hold that one there. You love my show, of course. Um, I highlighted that one there. We were talking about sip and chat, and we went to the spotlight because you asked for it, so we put the spotlight out there,
Yeah.
and so there you go, Dan. You got what you wanted. So no complaints here, and again, thank you, Charlene, for coming on the show and sharing that. Again, guys, if you want to go check it out, I put the link in the comments there. You can go sign up for the VIP hot seats. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's an extra 45 minutes after you have an hour with us. You get
Mm,
an extra 45 minutes, just the VIPs.
look at that. I mean, what else do you want? What else do you want than that? Okay. Thank you again, Charlene, for coming on the show. Sit tight. I do appreciate you coming on and having a wonderful conversation. I do appreciate it so very, very much. Okay, guys. Before we get out of here, though, I did not forget about this. I'm trying to switch the position of how I want to do things. So we're going to try something a little different tonight before we get out of here. We talked about our Joke of the Day segment series. So we do have a winner today. So, guys, if you want to go, there you go. If you want to, let me lower that volume a little bit. Let me go back just a little bit. If you want to go back and submit to our Joke of the Day, there you go. You can go to GabeLeal. .com. Oh, no, not GabeLeal.com. I need a Gabe. The day. We got more things coming, more segments we're trying to put together. So thank you again, everybody, for tuning in, guys. You rocked it. It is so awesome that you guys are here. And thank you, Yolanda, for the little bit of laughter. And of course, our guest who's already commenting. This is what I love. So thank you, guys. You have been wonderful again. I don't know how to say except all the gratitude in the world for what you guys come here and do every night. You add so much value. You make this fun. You make this feel like a community. And I'm, again, humbled and honored to be the driver of this host here, of being this. So thank you again, guys, so much. And we will be back tomorrow evening, 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. Funny thing, no guest tomorrow. We're going to roll out a few things to try. So, and we might have a call-in session. That's always fun. We're trying that out again as well. So if you weren't here for the test streams, we're going to try a little something tomorrow where we will actually bring in a live call-in show. So if you would love to participate, we can bring in your phone call. You don't even have to be on camera. You don't even have to turn on a restream or anything else. You just got to grab your phone, just like anybody else who would call a friend. And I'm your friend tomorrow. Give me a call, and we'll have a conversation. So it's AMA style. We'll see how that goes, but I'm going to try to put a few other ideas and segments together and let just run and see how that goes. So thank you again, guys. It's been a wonderful, wonderful evening, and I will be back tomorrow evening, 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. So until then, guys, you have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Stay well, be well, and be blessed. So good night, everybody.